Lieutenant Alex Harper sat in the command chair of the human exploration ship Odyssey, staring at the glowing blue planet on the view screen. The ship's engines hummed softly, a steady rhythm that usually calmed him, but today his nerves were too high. Today, they were meeting the Xilar, the dominant species of this planet. He had read every briefing, every report, and yet nothing could prepare him for a room full of 8-foot-tall warriors with glowing patterns on their skin and expressions that seemed impossible to read. "Lieutenant, are you ready?" Captain Monroe's voice broke through his thoughts. She stood behind him, hands folded neatly behind her back, exuding the calm authority Alex sometimes wished he had. "As ready as I'll ever be," Alex said, trying to sound confident. Truthfully, his stomach twisted in knots. Diplomacy wasn't his strongest skill. Tact, subtlety, small talk, these were not his strengths. His specialty was improvisation, and today he feared he might need every ounce of it. "Good. Remember," Monroe said, lowering her voice, "they respect strength and skill, not flattery. Keep your humor in check and follow protocol." Alex nodded, though the warning made his stomach tighten even more. Humor had always been his way of connecting with people, even if it occasionally got him in trouble. He hoped he could calibrate it well enough today to survive. The transport shuttle shuttled the human team down through the planet's atmosphere, the vibrant landscape unfolding beneath them. Towering crystal structures jutted from the ground, glowing faintly in patterns that pulsed with energy. It was unlike anything Alex had seen before. The air shimmered as if charged with electricity, and the faint hum of life here resonated through his chest. When the shuttle touched down in the clearing outside the Xilar Council Hall, Alex and the team stepped out, their boots crunching softly on the crystalline ground. The Xilar awaited them, standing in formation. Each warrior was imposing, muscular, tall, with bioluminescent markings that shifted subtly with their emotions. Alex could see that even standing still, they radiated discipline and strength. "Remember, eyes forward," Monroe whispered. "Do not show intimidation. They can sense it." Alex nodded again, though he was already overwhelmed. He had never been so aware of the difference between human and alien presence. The Xilar walked with perfect posture, their movements precise, almost ritualistic. As they entered the council hall, the temperature seemed to drop slightly. The walls glimmered with a metallic sheen, reflecting the faint light of the crystals embedded in the floor. The air smelled faintly metallic, sharp but clean. At the center of the hall, Kayla stood, the Xilar warrior who would be Alex's primary point of contact. She was taller than the other humans by at least a foot, her muscles defined, her presence commanding. Yet there was something about her that set her apart. Her movements were fluid, almost graceful despite her size and strength. Alex's mind raced. He had prepared his words, his gestures, every possible scenario. But when Kayla's glowing eyes met his, all his preparation seemed to vanish. He felt the heat rise to his face. "Greetings, Kayla," he said, forcing a smile. "I'm Lieutenant Alex Harper of the Human Exploration Team." Kayla inclined her head slightly, a formal gesture of acknowledgement. Her gaze was piercing yet unreadable. Alex shifted on his feet, trying to think of something that would put her at ease. He knew humor could be risky, but he also knew that showing respect through observation often worked with other cultures. "Well," he began carefully, "I have to say, your combat form is impressive." He paused, realizing mid-sentence how awkward it sounded. "I mean, your posture, your strength. It's remarkable." Kayla's eyes widened slightly and a faint flush spread across the glowing patterns on her skin. Alex blinked, unsure if he had succeeded in complimenting her or insulting her. The council hall was silent. Every Xilar present was watching, their expressions unreadable. Then, before he could clarify, Kayla raised a hand and gave him a sharp, precise slap across the face. Alex staggered back slightly, surprised, his cheek stinging. The room was quiet for a heartbeat. Then the Xilar around Kayla nodded subtly, a sign of acknowledgement rather than approval or anger. Alex rubbed his cheek, wincing, and realized she wasn't angry in a hostile way. This was a cultural signal, perhaps of embarrassment or mild reprimand. I'm sorry," Alex stammered, raising his hands slightly. "I didn't mean—" Kayla's glowing eyes softened for a moment, though she didn't speak. Instead, she gestured for him to follow her. Alex hesitated, then nodded and stepped forward, careful not to show fear or further awkwardness. The next hour passed in a tense dance of observation and protocol. Alex and his team were guided through ceremonial areas, shown the history of the Xylar and introduced to other warriors. Kayla walked beside him, her presence commanding but strangely reassuring. Each time he tried to engage in light conversation, she would respond with a nod or a subtle shift in her posture, which Alex slowly realized was her version of humor, or at least tolerance. By the time they were led to a training hall, Alex had begun to understand a little more about their culture. The Xylar valued skill and discipline above all else, and physical prowess was both a status symbol and a necessity. Words carried weight, but actions proved worth. "Today," Kyla said finally, her voice deep and commanding, "you will observe, and perhaps participate, in our training. We shall see if your people's skill matches your words." Alex felt a mixture of excitement and dread. This was his chance to redeem himself, to show that humans could not only survive among the Xylar but excel. He glanced at Monroe, who gave him a subtle nod of encouragement. The training hall was massive, the floor etched with intricate patterns that glowed faintly. Xylar warriors moved through combat drills with precision and grace. Alex watched closely, noting their stances, the flow of their movements, the way they combined strength with strategy. Kayla stepped forward, positioning herself opposite Alex. "Show me your skill," she commanded. Alex swallowed, trying to calm his racing heart. He raised his stance, mimicking some of the movements he had observed, adding human improvisation. Kayla's eyes flickered with surprise. His movements were unconventional, yes, but fluid in their own way. Where the Xylar relied on strict form, Alex relied on adaptability. The first exchange was cautious. Kayla moved with calculated precision. Alex dodged and countered, blending human ingenuity with speed. Each move pushed him further out of his comfort zone, and each time Kayla blocked or countered, Alex learned more about her style and about her. At one point, Alex executed a feint he had improvised mid-movement. Kayla froze for a fraction of a second, and then her eyes flickered with what Alex guessed was respect. He didn't have time to dwell on it. She resumed her attack faster and more forceful. By the end of the session, both were breathing heavily, their movements slowing. Alex's muscles ached, but he felt exhilaration coursing through him. He had survived the initial test, not just physically, but socially. He had made a cultural misstep, yes, but he had also shown resilience and adaptability, the qualities humans were known for. Kayla looked at him for a long moment, the glow in her patterns shifting subtly. Then she inclined her head slightly, a gesture Alex decided was acknowledgement. Not acceptance, not friendship yet, but recognition. As they left the training hall, Alex felt a strange mix of embarrassment and pride. He had been slapped, yes, and he still felt the sting. But he had also taken a step into understanding the Xylar, and perhaps into earning their respect. Monroe's voice came over the comms. "Well done, Lieutenant. Keep observing, keep learning." That was just the beginning. Alex nodded, still rubbing his cheek, but a small smile formed. This was only the first day. There would be challenges ahead, missteps, and perhaps more slaps. But he could feel it in his bones. Humans had a way of thriving in the unexpected, and Kayla, awkward beginnings aside, might just be the key to proving it. He glanced at her as they walked down the hall. Kayla's glowing patterns flickered again, a subtle rhythm he hadn't noticed before. For the first time, Alex thought he saw something human in her expression, a hint of curiosity or perhaps amusement. He grinned to himself, knowing this was the start of an unpredictable, fascinating journey. And despite the slap, despite the embarrassment, he couldn't help thinking, maybe this would turn out better than he ever imagined. The day after the awkward but memorable meeting in the training hall, Lieutenant Alex Harper awoke with a stiff neck and a lingering tingle on his cheek. The memory of Kayla's precise slap was still fresh, and though he tried to dismiss it, he couldn't help a faint smile every time he thought about it. Humans often found humor in uncomfortable situations, and Alex had learned that sometimes a little laughter helped when navigating an alien culture. He dressed quickly in the standard human exploration uniform and joined his team in the observation lounge. The humans had been assigned quarters on the outskirts of the Xylar settlement, close enough to participate in daily activities, but far enough to respect their customs. From the window, Alex could see the Xylar warriors training in formations, moving with such coordinated precision that it almost looked like a dance. "Morning, Lieutenant," said Captain Monroe, appearing behind him with her usual calm authority. "I trust your cheek feels better?" Alex rubbed it reflexively. It's fine, he said, though the sting lingered. I think it's also a lesson in human humility. Monroe raised an eyebrow but said nothing. She knew better than to argue with his brand of humor. Their first task for the day was a deeper integration into Xylar training routines. Today, humans would not only observe but participate fully, proving that their skills could complement the Xylar methods. Alex felt a mix of anticipation and nervousness. He was eager to demonstrate human adaptability, but the memory of the slap reminded him to stay careful. Kayla greeted them at the training grounds, her imposing figure illuminated by the morning sun reflecting off her patterned skin. Today, she said, her voice steady and commanding, you will show us your capability, not through words but through actions. Every movement must have purpose, Alex nodded. He could feel the weight of her gaze on him, and despite the earlier embarrassment, he felt a flicker of determination. The humans formed a line opposite the Xylar warriors. Kayla stepped forward, towering over Alex, her glowing pattern shifting with subtle intensity. Begin, she commanded. The training session was rigorous. The Xylar combined strength, speed, and strategy in ways Alex had never experienced. They moved like living weapons, every step calculated, every strike precise. Alex mirrored their movements as best he could, inserting human improvisation when possible. He discovered quickly that unpredictability could sometimes be an advantage. During one sequence, Kayla attacked him with a series of swift strikes. Alex dodged instinctively, using movements that were unconventional by Xylar standards but effective nonetheless. He could feel her surprise in her eyes. Humans were adaptable, yes, but to a Xylar, their methods seemed chaotic. Yet each improvised move allowed him to survive and occasionally to land a counter. The other Xylar warriors watched closely, their heads tilting slightly in acknowledgement. It was subtle, but Alex recognized it as a mark of respect. He was learning the unspoken language of this alien culture, the small shifts, the slight changes in posture, the subtle glow patterns signaling approval or curiosity. After an hour of drills, Kayla called a halt. You have potential, she said, her voice measured. Your people are unpredictable yet effective. That is interesting. Alex allowed himself a small smile. Praise from Kayla was rare, even in her calm, measured tone. Thank you, he said. I think humans learn quickly when faced with unique challenges. Kayla's glowing patterns flickered, a subtle reaction that Alex interpreted as amusement. She nodded once, then gestured for him to follow her. Observe closely. Today you will also learn how we combine tactics with our environment. This is essential for survival. The humans trailed behind her as she led them to a nearby field. Here the Xylar demonstrated how to use natural terrain to their advantage, positioning themselves strategically among rocks, trees, and crystalline formations, using the environment to enhance speed and strength. Alex watched closely, noting how they leveraged both instinct and training. Try it, Kayla said suddenly, stepping back. Use your environment. Alex glanced at the terrain. It was uneven, scattered with glowing crystal shards and low rock formations. He crouched and improvised, using quick steps and careful maneuvers to mimic the Xylar style while maintaining his human creativity. Kayla followed him closely, observing every move. At first she was skeptical. Humans moved differently, their bodies less rigid and more flexible. Yet as Alex adapted, she saw the potential in their unconventional approach. When he executed a maneuver that allowed him to outflank an opponent while maintaining balance on the crystal terrain, Kayla's patterns glowed brighter for a moment, a sign of approval. By mid-afternoon, the humans in Xylar had developed a rhythm. Alex noticed something remarkable. Despite differences in culture, physiology, and combat style, cooperation was possible. Humans brought unpredictability and creativity. Xylar brought discipline and precision. Together, they were stronger. During a brief water break, Alex wiped sweat from his brow and glanced at Kayla. You know, he said carefully, trying to tread the line between humor and respect. Your warriors train hard, but they don't smile much. Humans could teach them a thing or two about that. Kayla's head tilted slightly, her glowing patterns flickering in a way that Alex took as a smile, or the closest thing a Xylar had to one. Curiosity about happiness is unnecessary, she said, though there was a faint lightness in her tone. Yet it may have value. Observe closely, Lieutenant. Alex laughed quietly. It was a relief to hear a hint of levity from her. They had started on rocky terms, and yet slowly a mutual understanding was emerging. He realized that cultural bridges were not built through words alone. They were built through shared experience, respect, and yes, even humor. Their training was interrupted by an urgent alert from the settlement. Alarms echoed across the crystalline plains, signaling an external threat approaching. Alex and the humans were ushered back to the command center, where monitors showed a fleet of unknown alien ships descending toward the planet. Unknown origin, the Xylar commander said. They have attacked our outposts. Immediate action is required. Alex felt his pulse quicken. This was unplanned, chaotic. Exactly the kind of situation humans were trained to handle. Yet now it was not just a drill. Lives were at stake. Kayla turned to him. Your skills may be tested beyond training today. Adaptability will be crucial. Alex nodded, his mind racing through possibilities. He gathered his team, quickly assessing the situation. Humans could bring technology, improvisation, and unconventional strategies. Xylar had raw power, discipline, and intimate knowledge of the terrain. Together they had a chance. The humans and Xylar warriors mobilized. Alex coordinated with Kayla, suggesting positions, improvising traps, and using the environment strategically. Xylar warriors followed her lead, and while some were initially skeptical of human suggestions, Kayla's silent endorsement encouraged them to adapt. As the alien raiding ships approached, Alex noticed their movement patterns. They were fast but predictable in their attack formation. He relayed his observations to Kayla, who adjusted her warriors' positioning accordingly. The humans deployed drones and tactical barriers, leveraging their technology in ways the Xylar had never seen. When the first wave of attackers landed, chaos erupted. Alex and Kayla moved side by side, humans and Xylar blending in combat. He was struck by how intuitive Kayla had become in coordinating with him, her initial wariness replaced by trust, her precise movements complementing his improvisation. A group of raiders tried to flank them, but Alex anticipated the maneuver. He used a combination of speed, human ingenuity, and terrain to trap them, allowing Kayla and her warriors to neutralize the threat efficiently. The synergy was remarkable. By the time the first wave was repelled, Alex was exhausted but exhilarated. The humans had proven their worth, not just as fighters but as partners capable of thinking differently. Kayla approached him, her glowing patterns now calm and steady. You have potential, she said, echoing her earlier words. Your people are unpredictable, yet they survive. That is impressive. Alex smiled, feeling a rush of pride. Thank you, Kayla. I think humans have a way of thriving where others might falter. She inclined her head slightly, a gesture he had come to recognize as respect. Perhaps your methods have value beyond what I imagined. Continue to observe, Lieutenant. There is much we can learn from each other. As the humans regrouped, Alex realized how far they had come in just one day. From an awkward compliment and a painful slap to fighting side by side against an unexpected threat, he had witnessed firsthand the power of cooperation, adaptability, and trust. And even as he nursed the sting on his cheek, he knew one thing. This was only the beginning. Humans had earned a place among the Xylar, but the real test was yet to come. Together, they would face challenges that would test every skill, every instinct, and every ounce of courage. Yet Alex felt ready. After all, humans had a way of turning mistakes into lessons, humor into strategy, and awkward moments into opportunities. And if Kayla's subtle flicker of amusement was any indication, she was beginning to see it too. The alien warrior's glance met his for a brief, fleeting moment, and Alex couldn't help but think that despite everything, the slap, the embarrassment, the tension, something extraordinary was beginning. The alien raiding fleet that had appeared the day before returned at dawn, larger and faster than the humans had anticipated. Lieutenant Alex Harper stood at the edge of the Xylar settlement, watching the distant ships descend. The air seemed to vibrate with tension, and the ground under his boots felt unusually solid, as if the planet itself was holding its breath. Lieutenant, gather your team. Captain Monroe's voice came over the comms. We need every hand ready for immediate deployment. Alex nodded, his mind already racing through strategies. Unlike the previous day's drills, this was real combat. Lives were at stake, both human and Xylar. He could feel the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders, but he also felt a surge of determination. Humans had always thrived under pressure, using creativity and adaptability to overcome impossible odds. This was their chance to prove it. Kayla appeared beside him, her imposing figure radiating calm authority. "The attackers are faster and more numerous than before," she said, her voice steady. "Predictability will be fatal. We must adapt or we will fail." Alex nodded. "We'll coordinate our forces. I have a plan that might give us an edge." Kayla raised an eyebrow. "Explain." Alex quickly outlined a strategy. Humans would use their technology, drones, automated barriers, and portable energy shields, to create zones of controlled chaos. Meanwhile, the Xelar warriors would use their mastery of terrain, speed, and precision strikes to funnel enemies into these zones, making them vulnerable. It was a risky plan, relying on coordination and timing, but if it worked, it could turn the tide. Kayla studied him carefully, then nodded. "Unconventional, but it may succeed. Lead your people, Lieutenant. I will lead the warriors." The humans moved into position, deploying drones that hovered silently, scanning for enemy movement. Energy barriers flickered into place, forming narrow corridors and choke points. Alex could feel the anticipation in the air, the tension before the storm. When the first wave of raiders landed, chaos erupted. Alien shapes moved with deadly speed, their weapons firing streaks of energy across the field. Alex barked commands, coordinating drones and barriers while moving among his team. The humans adapted quickly, using their ingenuity to respond to threats in real time. Kayla led the Xylar warriors with precision. Her every movement was fluid, calculated, and terrifyingly effective. She struck with lethal accuracy, blocking attacks and countering with swift strikes. Alex watched her in awe, realizing that her initial embarrassment and human-like reactions only made her more formidable. As the battle intensified, Alex noticed a group of raiders attempting to flank the human line. They moved fast, using terrain to their advantage. Alex acted instinctively. He sent a drone ahead to create a distraction, then led a small team through the crystal formations to intercept them. The maneuver was unconventional, risky even, but it worked. The raiders were caught off guard, and the Xylar warriors moved in to neutralize them. Kayla observed him closely, her glowing patterns flickering with intensity. She had seen humans improvise before, but the speed and creativity with which Alex had acted impressed her. For the first time, she considered that humans were not merely allies. They were unpredictable forces capable of changing the course of battle. The fight raged on. Energy blasts illuminated the crystalline plains, reflecting off the jagged formations in dazzling patterns. The humans and Xylar fought side by side, a seamless blend of strategy and instinct. Alex found himself moving in sync with Kayla, their actions complementing each other. He ducked under a sweep of her weapon, rolling to intercept an attacker she had missed. She in turn blocked a strike aimed at him, her reflexes lightning fast. For a brief moment as the battle raged around them, Alex realized something extraordinary. Trust had formed between them. Not just mutual respect, but instinctive trust, the kind that allowed them to anticipate each other's moves without words. It was a connection forged in combat, one that humans often developed under pressure. A second wave of raiders landed, larger and more aggressive. Alex signaled his team, and the drones shifted to create new barriers. He noticed Kayla moving toward the center of the battlefield, drawing attention with her precise strikes. He followed her lead, using the diversion to execute a human tactic he had devised on the spot. He guided his team to set up a series of traps using portable energy nets, designed to ensnare multiple raiders at once. The plan worked perfectly. As the raiders charged, they were funneled into narrow corridors where the nets deployed, immobilizing them. Kayla and her warriors moved in with lethal efficiency, striking down the immobilized enemies. The tide of battle slowly shifted. The humans' adaptability combined with the Xylar's discipline created an advantage neither side could achieve alone. Alex felt a surge of pride not in himself alone, but in the combined strength of humans and Xylar working together. During a brief lull, Alex glanced at Kayla. She was breathing heavily, her glowing patterns vibrant with intensity. Despite the chaos, she had maintained composure, leading her warriors with unmatched skill. He realized that their earlier awkward interactions, the slap, the cultural misunderstandings, had been small obstacles compared to what they were accomplishing now. "You adapt well," Kayla said, her voice carrying over the battlefield. Your people's unpredictability is effective. Alex grinned despite the sweat and dirt on his face. Thanks. I think humans survive because we can think differently under pressure. She inclined her head slightly, a gesture Alex had come to recognize as approval. Perhaps there is more to your species than I understood. The battle was far from over. A group of raiders had landed on the northern ridge, attempting to attack the settlement's energy core. Alex signaled a small strike team to intercept, but Kayla shook her head. We will handle this together, she said, moving toward the ridge. Alex followed, coordinating his team to provide support. The climb was treacherous, the crystal formations jagged and unstable. But humans were adaptable, and so were the Xelar. Together they navigated the terrain with speed and precision. When they reached the ridge, the raiders were caught off guard. Alex and Kayla moved in perfect harmony, their actions synchronized without verbal commands. Alex's improvisation and Kayla's discipline combined to create a devastating assault. One by one, the raiders fell, unable to counter the unexpected tactics. As the last raider fell, the ridge fell silent. Alex and Kayla stood side by side, breathing heavily, surveying the battlefield. The humans and Xelar had held their ground, repelling the attackers and protecting the settlement. Kayla turned to Alex, her glowing patterns shifting to a calm, steady rhythm. You have proven your worth, she said. Humans are not merely allies. You are capable of strategy, improvisation, and courage. That is admirable. Alex smiled, feeling a mixture of relief and pride. Thank you, Kayla. It's been intense, but we've done it together. She inclined her head again, a gesture of respect and acknowledgement. Yes, together we are stronger. As the humans and Xelar regrouped, Alex felt a profound sense of accomplishment. The initial awkwardness, the slap, the cultural misunderstandings, they all seemed distant now. What mattered was trust, cooperation, and the ability to adapt under pressure. Humans had demonstrated that they could thrive even in an alien environment, using their ingenuity and courage to complement the Xelar's strength. Later, in the aftermath of the battle, Alex walked alongside Kayla through the settlement. The alien warrior's glowing patterns flickered softly, a sign of calm and perhaps even amusement. He felt a sense of camaraderie forming, subtle but undeniable. You handled yourself well, Kayla said quietly. Your people's creativity, it is impressive. Perhaps there is more to learn from you than I imagined. Alex chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. I guess humans have a way of turning mistakes into opportunities. Even when we start awkwardly, we can make things work. Kayla's patterns flickered brighter, a subtle reaction he interpreted as a smile. Perhaps. Continue to observe and participate, Lieutenant. There is more ahead. Alex nodded. Despite the exhaustion, despite the adrenaline still coursing through his veins, he felt ready. The humans had survived the first real test, and they had proven themselves not just as allies, but as partners capable of strategy, courage, and adaptation. And as he glanced at Kayla standing tall and vigilant beside him, he realized that the bond they were forming, built through combat, trust and mutual respect, was only beginning. Humans had a way of thriving in the unexpected, and Kayla, despite her initial reserve, was beginning to see it too. The day had tested them all, but it had also shown that cooperation between species was possible. Humans and Xelar together could face threats that neither could handle alone, and Alex knew deep down that this was only the beginning. The real challenges, the true tests of ingenuity, courage, and adaptability were still to come. But for now, they had survived. And in surviving, they had proven something far greater than skill or strength. They had proven that humans, even in an alien world, could make a difference. The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the crystalline plains of the Xelar settlement. Lieutenant Alex Harper stood with his team, overlooking the aftermath of the previous day's battle. The alien raiding fleet had retreated, leaving the humans and Xelar victorious but wary. The energy barriers still hummed faintly, a reminder of the chaos they had survived, and the settlement's crystal structures glowed softly in the evening light. Kayla approached him, her movements precise and measured as always. Her glowing patterns had shifted through the day, from intensity during battle to a calm, steady rhythm now. She stopped beside Alex and looked out over the plains. The threat has subsided for now, she said, but vigilance remains essential. Our enemies may return. Alex nodded, sensing both the weight of her words and the pride hidden beneath her tone. "We'll be ready," he replied. "Humans learn fast, and we've got some excellent teachers." Kayla's gaze flickered toward him briefly, her subtle acknowledgement unspoken yet understood. Alex had come a long way from the initial slap, the awkward compliments, and the tense first day of training. That moment, though embarrassing, had set the stage for mutual understanding. Now, standing here, he felt the bond between them had grown into something real. Trust. The team spent the evening repairing defenses, checking equipment, and coordinating patrols. Alex noticed how naturally humans and Xylar were beginning to work together. A human engineer would set up a drone, and a Xylar warrior would move to a strategic position to maximize its efficiency. What had seemed impossible yesterday, cooperation across species, was now unfolding seamlessly. During a quiet break, Alex found himself walking alongside Kayla through the settlement's crystal corridors. The soft glow illuminated her patterned skin, highlighting her athletic form and the subtle shifts that conveyed mood among her people. He hesitated, then spoke carefully. "Kayla, I wanted to say something about before when I complimented you." She glanced at him briefly, her expression neutral but curious. "Yes," Alex swallowed, choosing his words. "I know I overstepped. It was clumsy, and I understand why you reacted as you did. I hope it didn't offend you in the long term." Kayla's glowing patterns flickered softly. She inclined her head slightly. "It was unexpected," she said. "A human approach I did not anticipate. Yet it has led to understanding. Perhaps awkwardness is sometimes a catalyst for learning." Alex laughed quietly. "I guess humans have a way of turning mistakes into lessons." Kayla's patterns brightened subtly, and Alex interpreted it as amusement, a rare human-like emotion from the alien warrior. For the first time, he sensed not just respect, but genuine acknowledgement, a sign that their partnership had moved beyond duty into trust. The next morning, the settlement received intelligence that a secondary raiding group had been detected nearby. Alex and Kayla quickly assembled a mixed team of humans and Xylar to intercept. The group moved silently, the sun low and the crystal plains casting shimmering reflections that almost seemed alive. "Remember," Kayla instructed, her tone commanding but calm. "We act as one. Adaptation and strategy are essential. Trust in your partner, Lieutenant." Alex nodded. "And you, Kayla, trust in ours," he replied with a small grin. As they approached the raiding group's position, Alex and Kayla coordinated the team with a combination of gestures, signals, and precise commands. The humans' technology, drones, energy barriers, and sensors, integrated seamlessly with Xylar combat techniques. It was a perfect demonstration of teamwork. Humans improvising and thinking outside the box, Xylar executing with discipline and precision. The raiders were caught off guard by the unexpected coordination. Energy nets and drones blocked escape routes, while Kayla and her warriors moved like shadows, striking with lethal accuracy. Alex led small strike teams, guiding human and Xylar units in tandem to neutralize threats efficiently. Every maneuver demonstrated the growing synergy between the species. During the skirmish, Alex found himself facing a group of raiders attempting a flanking maneuver. Kayla moved to cover his side, blocking a powerful strike aimed at him. Alex rolled behind a crystalline formation, improvising a trap using a portable energy net. The raiders were ensnared, and Kayla moved in, neutralizing them with swift precision. When the skirmish ended, the humans and Xylar regrouped at the top of a ridge overlooking the battlefield. The raiders had been defeated and the settlement remained secure. Alex felt a mixture of relief and exhilaration. The humans had proven themselves not just as fighters but as essential partners. Kayla approached him, her glowing patterns calm and steady. "Your people's unpredictability continues to be an asset," she said. "Combined with our discipline, we are formidable. Your adaptability is impressive," Alex grinned. "Thanks, Kayla, but it's not just me. It's all of us, humans and Xylar. Together we can face anything." For a moment, silence fell over the ridge, broken only by the faint hum of residual energy from the battle. The view was breathtaking. The settlement bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun, the crystalline plains sparkling like a sea of stars. Alex felt a deep sense of satisfaction. Humans had survived, humans had thrived, and humans had earned the trust of a proud warrior species. As they walked back toward the settlement, Alex noticed Kayla watching him with a faint glow in her eyes, a subtle acknowledgement that they had come far from the first awkward encounter. He felt a rush of pride and camaraderie, mixed with something lighter, almost playful. "You handled yourself well today," Kayla said quietly. "Perhaps even better than I expected." Alex laughed softly. "I guess humans do tend to surprise people. Sometimes in good ways, sometimes, well, not so good." Kayla's patterns flickered again, a subtle display Alex interpreted as amusement. "Your initial compliment," she said slowly, "though it caused a minor disruption, may have been a catalyst for this alliance. Unexpected yet effective." Alex couldn't help but smile. "So the slap worked after all?" Kayla's head tilted slightly, her glow brightening faintly. "It was memorable," she admitted. "Perhaps it will serve as a reminder of cultural differences and of the value of understanding." Alex chuckled. "I'll remember it, that's for sure. And I promise no more awkward compliments, at least not today." They shared a brief moment of quiet, walking side by side through the corridors of the settlement. The bond between them was no longer tentative. It was solid, forged through trust, respect, and shared danger. Over the next several days, the humans and Jylar continued joint training exercises, fortifying the settlement and preparing for potential threats. Alex and Kayla worked closely, coordinating strategies, testing human technology alongside Xylar tactics, and refining their teamwork. Each exercise strengthened the bond between their peoples, demonstrating that collaboration could overcome the most daunting challenges. One evening, after a long day of drills and planning, Alex found himself alone with Kayla in the central training hall. The glowing patterns on her skin shifted gently as she moved. He hesitated for a moment, then spoke. "Kayla, thank you. For trusting us, for working with us, for everything." Kayla paused, her gaze meeting his. "You have proven yourself beyond expectation, Lieutenant. Humans are capable of courage, ingenuity, and adaptability. You have earned our respect." Alex felt a warmth in his chest. "And I've learned from you," he said sincerely. "From your skill, your discipline, your patience. I think we make a good team." Kayla's patterns flickered brighter, a subtle, almost human-like expression of acknowledgement. "Yes. Together, we are stronger than we were apart." For a long moment, they stood in silence, watching the soft glow of the training hall, the quiet hum of the settlement, and the distant stars beyond the crystal windows. The events of the past days, the slap, the misunderstandings, the battles, felt like stepping stones leading to this moment. Trust had been built, respect earned, and a new alliance solidified. As they left the hall, Alex glanced at Kayla one last time before returning to the human quarters. She gave a subtle nod, and Alex knew that the awkwardness of the first day had been replaced by mutual understanding, admiration, and a shared purpose. The humans had proven themselves. The Jylar had recognized their value, and together they had survived and thrived in the face of danger. Alex felt a deep sense of accomplishment and pride, not just for himself but for humanity. They had demonstrated that courage, adaptability, and ingenuity were qualities that could bridge species, cultures, and even worlds. And as he looked toward the glowing horizon, Alex Harper knew one thing for certain: humans would continue to grow, adapt, and thrive no matter where the universe placed them. With allies like Kayla and the Jylar warriors, they were stronger than ever, and nothing could stop them when they worked together. For the first time since setting foot on this alien world, Alex felt truly at home. The slap, the embarrassment, and the cultural missteps had led to something extraordinary: respect, friendship, and the beginning of a partnership that could change the fate of both species. And as the night fell over the crystal plains, Alex Harper smiled. Humanity had arrived, and they were here to stay.